Coming to you live from the Poison Point studio, it's Neo!
Good evening, my esteemed watchers, and welcome to another episode of Poison Points. I'm just realizing that I won't be speaking unless I am undeafened and unmuted, so you get to stare at my pretty little face until we move the scenes. My apologies for that, everybody. Yes. This evening, I am your host, Neo, and please do not call me Lulu. I am not a big fan of being associated with her. But regardless, we are here together today, celebrating my grand return. Well, I suppose I never really left, after all. How is everybody doing this evening? Congratulations, Silver, on being first, and Wisp, I hope that you've had a great day. I have had quite the fun time, but my body is a little worn from last night's adventures. Well, that's what you get for sharing a body with somebody else, I suppose. Regardless, I hope that everything has been well. I won't spoil, though, because the game that itself does that with itself with its description. I mean, the man who lost his name, I can kind of see what it's about. I really want to play it myself at the end of the day. Let me get some music going for us. Why did I look up Ko-Fi on YouTube songs? Yes, Ko-Fi playlist. That is what we're doing this evening. Now, I know today is a little bit of a strange one. I've been behind all morning because of reasonings, which is specific to my phone not wanting to accept anything. It's just, it was not charging, it was not doing anything that it normally should have. But, uh, yeah, that's why we're doing this today. It's charging now, so maybe about the halfway point, I'll be able to boot up the old Vinyan and get myself moving again. Hopefully. One can dream, at least. That's very loud. Very loud in my ears, I should say. Okay. This weekend was a bit of a rough one for me. I definitely went through the motions trying to keep up, and as some of you may know, I do work in a kitchen as my job. I am the secondary chef on board. I basically split shifts. One half of the week is mine, and the other half of the week goes to my boss. And I was prepping all week to make sure that the person who is covering me today, or covering my boss today, I should say, was all set up and not freaking out. And on top of that, we didn't have a dishwasher practically all weekend. So I have been working double time to make sure that everything is in working order. But it's okay. I work hard for all of your affections. If you haven't already, I suggest that you join the Discord and, well, give some love to our guest today. Him-chan is in there. Yeah, you're gonna work, that's right. Specifically, Him-chan does stream on YouTube. They are not a Twitch content creator, though I know for a fact that they do have a Twitch account. It's just not their primary source. So while we are shouting them out and all of that stuff, remember, go to their YouTube, specifically. Secondly, I do have some socials. Socials? Oh, you know you want to work for me. You could find me at Irisu on YouTube, and obviously on Twitter at The Real Irisu. Also, I do have a TikTok. I guess Lulu and I will be working together in this endeavor to make content very affordable and approachable for all of you today. And of course, she's turned on all of the donation links I see. But if for any reason you feel the need to support me and want to help out the channel in any way, shape, or form, doing so through Ko-Fi or subscribing is definitely one of the best ways you can do that. Hello, Lily, and welcome on in. I'm frozen. How are you doing today, my fine little fish friend? At least I'm not sick. You know, those pesky artifactings went away after a little bit. So I suppose it was just me being the resistor, as I always am. The known shitter of our group. I can't help it. I wanted to, for the most part, keep us safe, and still do to this day, but I suppose it's time for me to take a step back and let somebody else try. And you are all the wise ones tonight, I suppose. Are we behind at all in the stream? I'm worried that I did something at the start here in my change of bitrate for being slow, even though we're not having a high movement stream, has been finicky with the buffering. Has there been any intense buffering up until this point? I'm just taking a sip and a stretch while I wait for chat to catch up with me. It is very hard, very difficult, because my internet should be perfect, like nearly flawless. But for whatever reason, when I stream through OBS, if I change the bitrate at all, it definitely really fucks with like everything that this thing outputs. And I have the proper settings, so yeah, it's just a lazy day for chat. It is a Tuesday. I know Chams is busy playing Darkest Dungeon 2. They are stimming off of that game, and everybody is relaxing. But I understand. It is cold, very cold out, and, well, the season is changing. I mean, it already has, but like we're getting to that point of the year where it's going to get freezing cold and it's going to suck. And we're all going to be inside in the warmth and we'll be lethargic together. Okay. I believe. So we do not have an intro today for Him-chan, which is totally fine. You know, we want to give all the love that we can, but I was behind this evening. So it worked out in my favor. Regardless, I hope that you enjoy the stream and give Him-chan all of your love. So, I believe if I remember all of my buttons properly, because it has been a minute since I last did an interview, let's get underway, shall we? Introducing our guest for this evening, it is none other than Him-chan.
Is this thing on?
Oh yes, the microphone is always on underneath that table.
Oh, good. Awesome. How's it going, everybody?
Hello,
How's it
Him-chan.
I'm Him-chan. Oh, my tracking died. And I am a variety slash history VTuber. I just have to make sure. Just double checking. I just want to make sure my lip sync is on.
It's okay. We deal with the scuff. This is part of the stream experience, is dealing with how much scuff that I produce.
Yeah. Yes, I recently, not recently, a couple months ago, I interviewed Iris, and this is pretty much repaying the favor.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
You know, it's also ironic because during that stream, my tracking also died, and I had to return to this still static form.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I have some backups as well.
We always try to make it work as interviewers and interviewees, trying to make sure that we're presented well and give the best first impression to the people that we'll be in front of.
Of course.
Well, Him-chan, as is tradition on this channel, and unfortunately, you will not find this because technical difficulties also meant that I lost this VOD. But the last person that I interviewed was Galaxy Jamwich, and she left you with a question for, today's interview. Are you ready to receive her inquiry?
I am ready to receive that inquiry.
Okay. Jammy asked, how many pigeons do you think you could reasonably carry in your arms?
What kind of pigeons? Like the standard rock pigeons that you find in New York?
Yeah, I was going to say the New York pigeons specifically.
All right, New York pigeon. Okay, so
I guess it's a matter of do you really want to carry them?
I'm just trying to remember. I'm just trying to figure out how long my arm length is, and then pretty much the volume of
Yes.
About 9.
We're about 9 pigeons. You think that you could hold that
9
many?
pigeons? Yeah. 5 on one side, 4 in the other, and there's a likelihood I'll drop one. But pigeons are smart. They'll follow me.
That's a bold phrase, because aren't pigeons classically one of the dumbest animals, or is it doves that are the dumbest?
No. Doves are an overglorified pigeon, but no, they are very smart, and that's the reason why they've been utilized in communications throughout history.
Right. It's the pigeons that are like much smarter because they remember where they're supposed to be, where their original nest was from almost anywhere within a certain distance.
Yes. But
it was the doves that are like the beautiful but dumb ones specifically.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's it. Well, I suppose.
We are being told to hydrate and stretch by Gray, and also welcome on in, Soma. Thank you for joining us at the start of this interview. Okay, we're gonna get that in. I definitely need that after last night. So Him-chan, today we're going to be asking you some icebreaker questions to get into the flow of the stream. And I know that you're no stranger to this, as you are an interviewer yourself.
Very much, yes.
But I wanted to know, before all of that, why did you become a VTuber? How did you get here, where we see you now today?
Well, you see, it all started back in 2018, or was it 19? I think it's 18. No, it was 19. It was 2019 when I at least was first introduced to the concept of oral history. Oral history, of course, being a methodology in order to get information from people about a past event, which really relies on living memory.
Mm-hmm.
It really echoes sort of like the words of the historian William Cronin in his, I suppose, retort of postmodernist critiques of history, putting the human element or human conflict or even human biases into history. Otherwise, it becomes just a list. And as far as I know, a lot of people who have experienced the American education system will know learning about history through lists is definitely something that you grow malaise to.
Mm-hmm.
So after I got introduced to it, in addition to interviewing a couple people, first a family member, another immigrant as part of I've told my chat I'm from Pennsylvania, so I think actually, no, I should not really say anything about that. Either way, let's just say I officially interviewed an immigrant to garner their life stories, from their home to the city of which this project was focused on,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. And this pretty much added to an entire database that people can actually look at. But I can't say anything, otherwise I dox myself, and I don't want to provide my RL identity.
Of course.
So so after that entire semester worth of developing an oral history, I then got an internship pretty much finishing up the oral histories that all the other students couldn't finish up, or the interviews that nobody got around to. I took a break after took a few years, just pretty much trying to earn my master's. And by the time I got out of college or out of university, I didn't know where else to go. I didn't really have any goals set in mind, or any sort of like job lined up for me. So as a means to not only utilize my degree, because I would be damned if I wasted up to, let's just say I would waste the tuition I put into that university. And I just decided to, listen. Okay, this wasn't this year wasn't the first time I thought of interviewing VTubers. Before then, while I was under a different alias, I wanted to interview VTubers with the exact reasons why I had last year. The first one is, first and foremost, documenting the life experience of VTubers before, during, and after 2020, where VTubing really kicked off, at least within Western media. So, yeah, this has a little bit. Yeah, so the way I approach this stuff is pretty much somewhat academic, but also very, I want to say, warm or very jovial approach. Just so
casual learning about somebody.
I want to have my work very moist. Because that's a lot of because that's like the number one complaint I always hear about from my course classmates, that a lot of the history that they read, either primary sources, of course, being like the contemporary, how do I say, the contemporary writings, for example, like the Diary of Caesar, if we're talking about the late Roman Republic, and secondary sources, which is pretty much an examination of a variety of primary sources in order to create a monograph or a collaborative work to pretty much explore a history in addition to an argument that the historian is pretty much narrativizing. So yeah, I just didn't want my stuff to be dry, and I am pretty much making it so that not only my interviewee is having a great time, but also myself.
Yeah.
If that means making some cock jokes, then so be it. Oh wait, should I say that word on Twitch?
You're technically fine over here.
Okay, good.
It's funny that you mentioned the wet versus dry, the moist. Because that's the biggest turnoff learning things for me, is a lot of things are so to the point, it lacks a lot of character and personalizing that delivery, that message to you to learn. So I appreciate your, I don't want to call it an attempt, but it is always an attempt to deliver information in a way that people can absorb. And that is not incredibly dry or droning. So very impressive that, like, I've never thought about it that way. And it's funny to think about information being given moistly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically got your big start as I say big start, but like in terms of interviewing, your main goal was the pandemic, COVID-19, and how it affected people.
My time frame is definitely within that period. My time frame is not only includes the background of the person before the pandemic, or as some say, the panini, which is a new euphemism that I don't know whether or not it's a fun euphemism, I guess. But yeah, that's before, during, and after, because that's like I said, it pretty much was the period which VTubing really took off in Western media, where everyone's was at home with nothing else to do but just to watch cute anime girls, I guess.
Oh yeah, tons and tons of content consumption during that period. So
very much so.
Yeah, and I've said it, I'll say it 100 times, 1,000 times. VTubing is the gateway drug into VTubing. You see somebody else do it, and you kind of want to do it yourself. You want to, if you have an OC sitting around, turn that into a living being, even if for a temporary amount of time, much like myself. So, where did you come up with your name, Him-chan?
So, okay, Him-chan actually comes from a couple of things. That's at least one pronunciation that I go with. Him and him. Him, yes. Because I like to shitpost a lot. Despite despite wanting to also have a little bit of an aura of, how do I say, professionality with my interviews. I also I am a memester. I fucking love shitposting, and I don't know. I can't stop. It's
it runs through the veins.
It does. What else? But him, the pronunciation at least, is definitely a reference to Powerpuff Girls, specifically the character him.
Yes,
I think that's how to pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something that crossed my mind before, but it wasn't until now you mentioning that it reminded me of, like, I was like, is this a reference to him? What, was there any other inspiration from that character, or was it mainly just the name?
I probably pretty much the name.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I know, that character does not shapeshift, or at least like change its costumes. Except I think one episode where she, it, they, him, changed into I don't know, like golf clothes, unless my memory is shot there as well.
Can't him also grow, like get really big and change its size?
I don't remember that.
I thought that was like one of the core powers. Maybe I'm misremembering, and it's just an after effect of other things. And of course, your concept as a whole at your base, you have like a general form that you go by. But I always see you changing outfits and
always,
yeah, new concepts and designs. But at its core, what made you decide to go with, you're like cat, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I don't know, my brain's off today. So why did you decide to go with the cat design?
So, going back to my previous alias, I used to actually go with a more reptilian, or more like a lizard dragon girl kind of look with Renaissance era clothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I sort of I was on a sort of let's say transitionary period in order to in a transitionary period of rebranding, because I couldn't really figure out what to do with my original channel. I couldn't figure out what tone, what things I should produce. I was also trying to learn DaVinci, in addition to figuring out a bunch of other things that just kept on building up into a mount of anxiety and stuff I just wanted to start over with. So after one of my buddies, which are also a vtuber, released his new 3D model made by Vroid.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, maybe this is a ticket. Maybe this was a ticket for me to change things up, get a new identity.
Mm-hmm.
I might have taken the idea of a cat out of my procrastination, or out of my desire to always be procrastinating. But yeah, I chose to be a cat because how easy it is to make on Vroid.
Oh yes, yeah. It's not too crazy of an idea to add in ears and all that stuff. As someone who is,
I don't even have a tail. I didn't learn how to add a tail or learn how to put it on via Unity because, again, procrastination. I don't want to learn. Okay, first and foremost, I actually, for some reason, my PC really cannot operate Unity or what's the? Oh wait, no, it can run Unity. It's just, oh wait, no, it can't run Unity because its ability to download it is shot for some reason.
That is something that I feel like Unity would do. Like,
yeah. So again, not only it's a technical operation, but I also kind of want to push what I can with Vroid, or with the Vroid.
Just pure basis, like
software,
right there. Yeah, that is cool because, like, from what I can see, and people who just export straight out of Unity, or not Unity, Vroid, sometimes don't clean up as much. Something that's always struck me with your model and design is how smooth it is. Like, you definitely took a lot of care into crafting it, even if to you it seems though you procrastinated and it wasn't maybe something you put a lot of effort in, I definitely see the effort that you have put into it.
Well,
Now,
that would be the result of a lot of hyperfixations over fashion and what I want this Vroid model to wear.
oh yes.
Yeah.
It's like creating a character in a video game. That's like at least 90% of the experience, and then the rest of the game now is all of your tailor-made stuff. So,
Yeah.
and
the thing is with like at least video game fashion, I always feel like I wanted to change things up almost every single day. Like for example, back when I was playing FF14, I go through outfits very quickly. One day I'm playing, actually 1 hour I'm playing Paladin, the other hour I'm playing, a White Mage. And I'm always flip-flopping between outfits because they look great. I can't wear everything at the same time because otherwise that would be a clusterfuck.
you gotta take your time, all the rationing through the day to make sure you hit every outfit possible.
Yeah, it's rationing in order to get those dopamine receptors satisfied.
And I fully get it. That's actually part of the reason why I can't play MMOs, at least at the moment, because I'm so busy. But I will spend hours grinding out and searching for the best outfits possible, and then be upset when the outfit tier above, at least for base stuff, is like awful looking. And it's like, oh, what was the point of even leveling? Oh yes, Chems does say it, like the tails in Vroid, or at least putting them on in Unity, very difficult. I happen to know Chance knows how to do it, as well as another friend of ours, Nyx Nightfall. They learned how to do a scorpion tail at one point. And it's fully animated, it moves with your body, your movements, it's got physics on its own, so when you shift your head back and forth, it wiggles. So if you are down for learning, and your PC is kind to you, you do have resources there if they're willing to teach you.
I mean, I can probably do that, but I also have like a modeler I can send $5 to attach anything from wings to tails.
You know, that's entirely fair as well.
Some of my models or some of my costumes definitely couldn't get made without the help by my modeler. How do I pronounce his name? He's in my contacts right now.
The ever-growing struggle of the more people you know, the more names you have to learn and remember their pronunciation.
Yeah, no, he's buried underneath like 5 other people. Dynamo. I referenced him in a recent tweet involving a Half-Life costume that I might need to talk to him about de-chunkifying.
I see.
I'm still debating it. But yeah.
Okay. At the moment, is there anything that you've been working on, any like special events or anything of the sort that you're willing to share with us today?
Well, I put in a lot of effort, or like a couple hours, trying to nail down some sort of like the color palette of the game Slay the Princess. I've been trying to. Give me a moment. I'll be sliding back up.
Okay, you're transforming right before our very eyes. Yes, you are. You stream consistently on YouTube. Like, yeah, there it is.
Well, I wouldn't say just like. I wouldn't say consistently, but oh wait, no. What's up? My apologies. I just had to rethink. What was the question again?
No worries.
My train of thought just had to go.
Any big events that you have planned or anything special that you're willing to share with us?
Okay, so first and foremost, I have pretty much spent the past couple hours not past a couple hours. I spent 2 hours of the day trying to nail the color palette of Slay the Princess, which I have to postpone next week. But outside of maybe long-term projects, well, by every week I am trying to aim to make like at least 10-minute segments where I go over a fun piece of history, typically surrounding a article I come across. Like next week, in a Yakuza stream or Yakuza 0 stream, I want to go over the role of Yakuza women in organized crime or Japanese organized crime. And the other week might be, I don't know, like again, it has to. I want to have it somewhat thematic to the activity I am doing at the moment, and then I'm pretty much going to be cutting that up and making that as content. But I would say that's like mid-term projects. The very long-term project that I've been always like advertising and always procrastinating on is a series on the Golden Ass by Apuleius, which is one of the oldest books, or nearly complete books of antiquity. There we go.
Did you say the Golden Ass?
Yes, the Golden Ass. Originally, okay, so that's one way to say it, and it's my preference because it's very eye-catching. But the other way to refer to it is metamorphosis.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, it pretty much is the tales of a man turned donkey, hence the ass.
I see.
As he pretty much tours around as a beast of burden, listening to the various gossips, folk tales, and drama of 2nd century Greece.
Very intriguing. That's
it's fun. It has scat humor. It has a lot of. In fact, it has. Actually, I don't know. It has bestiality. Let's say at the very end.
I see. I see.
It's fun shit. But no, it really is a beautiful collection of 2nd century everyday life in ancient Greece, or everyday life in 2nd century Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, within the lens of a Numidian aristocrat, but nonetheless, it's still it's at least a great glimpse into the past.
Yeah,
that is very moist, and I want to like create that, or pretty much not only express my love for it, but also present it in a quasi overly sarcastic productions format. If anyone is familiar with that series.
Not me personally, but I have an idea, because doing it live, you're having that segment all set up beforehand, but on the fly presenting it in your own way. And again, I think the lends to your your moist perception delivery.
Oh, I just want to clarify something. With Apuleius or the Golden Ass project, that's going to be prepared content.
Oh, prepared. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of what you just said for the Yakuza stuff. So.
My apologies, then. My misinterpretation.
No, of course, but that also works all the same. I'm looking forward to listening in. I'm curious what the Golden Ass is all about.
You can pick up a Penguin edition for about $7. $7 if I remember. Yeah.
How long is it?
Okay, so if I remember, at least the Penguin edition is about like 200 pages, maybe 250,
That's not too bad, actually.
and it's and like I said, it's more of a, you know, it would be best described as an anthology, I guess, or like anthology of stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so over a few like different set pieces, different time eras, well, same era, but like different days.
Different
all
days,
told through
It's
the
a journey.
golden ass himself.
Mhm.
Okay, color me intrigued. I'm very curious to see this video, and you know what? I may just pick up that book myself.
We'll see what we'll see. We'll see if my procrastination doesn't kill it.
Oh, yeah. As a fellow procrastinator, I urge you to try and get it done little bits at a time, if at all possible, sooner rather than later. Or at least make a schedule like I do, where I meticulously plan every minute of my day to make sure that I do everything that I want to do. Otherwise, it just sits and never gets done, ever.
Yeah.
Also, Nebo in chat saying hello. How the turns tables on interviews. Welcome on in, Nebo.
Oh, Nebo. Hey, Nebo. How's it going, Nebo?
Nebo. And earlier, Von Klebo. I think that's what I was reading to get the Nebo. Thank you for the follow. Also, hello, PK. The show has been going wonderfully. Him-chan or Him-chan is a wonderful guess. I'll try to remember to change my pronunciation of that, because I would just think of the him like him her.
I gotcha.
And that should help. So I know you don't have lore, so we'll tweak this question just a little bit. This question is typically, how would you like your lore presented in a form of media? But we'll tweak this just a little bit. If you could put yourself on any product, your VTuber model, and you could sell that product right now, what kind of product would you want your face to be on?
Oh, I talked to my chat about this. It's pretty easy. Two scenarios. First one is I guess gamer subs kind of, or like a new gamer subs flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is a lemonade wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the same flavor as the gamer subs, right?
Oh no, it's going to be the same flavor. It's going to be like a sort of minty kind of lemonade.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way I pretty much want to call it is not my name,
Mm-hmm.
because I cherish what's the word? Execution, or I cherish
the presentation,
the muse of the presentation rather than myself. You know, the way I want to call it is Cat Girl Lemonade Shower.
Oh no!
Cat Girl Lemonade Shower Wine.
Oh yes.
Or flavor or something like that. You know?
Oh my goodness.
It's the implication there.
Yes, I feel it. What's the image that you'd use on the front? Would it be your face?
I haven't gotten that far really.
Okay,
maybe
the blueprint is...
maybe my character, but with like, I don't know, maybe blonde hair, which I fucking hate.
Oh, you're not a big fan of blonde?
I don't know. It doesn't match a lot, or a lot of my costumes.
That's fair. We're in the designing phase right here, right now. The cat girl lemonade shower. Okay, well, we have that. My next silly little question for you. This actually comes from Ellie. Oh my god, words. Ellie Azure of Nova Swarm. They asked previously, if you were a gym leader, what type is your specialty, and who is your ace Pokemon?
I think my type would be probably similar to whatever Giovanni's gym was back in Generation 1. Just a mix of different types. But my ace? You
have about 1,000 Pokemon to choose from.
I know, it's hard.
At least a third of them are fully evolved, so...
yeah. This is a difficult question.
Oh yes, it always makes people think... You're stuck with that choice forever. Like, you say it, you're basically legally obligated to...
It's my trump card.
Yeah, it's your trump card. PK saying, a fellow lemonade enjoyer, excellent taste, and then hearing the name of the drink.
Actually, yeah, back when I think during 2020, I kind of got loaded. During the summer, I got mainly loaded off of rumminades. I call them, which is just a mixed drink of lemonade and rum.
Mm-hmm.
I was exploring myself that year.
How was it? How was the rumminade?
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
Then I realized that I think I was just drinking it because of the lemon part or the citrus. I suppose. Damn. I don't have an answer for that, really. Wow.
I won't lie. I think this is definitely one of the hardest questions to answer. Because a lot of my other questions, I give them in advance because there's a lot to think about with those. Swampert? Okay.
Swampert.
What made you split second decide to choose Swampert?
Swampert has been my main for a very long time, at least in the Game Boy era.
Okay.
Of Pokemon.
Not too shabby honestly, Swampert's pretty strong if I remember correctly. If not, at least solid. So, I'm sure with those max IVs, EVs, and everything like that and the sort, a formidable foe as the final challenge in your run. For you specifically, I know we talked and dabbled a little bit about, why you did all of this. What made you want to, in general, make content? Like, not even just being a VTuber, just putting something out there for people to see.
So, I had at least plans or a desire to do so, even back in, I think back during high school, maybe in university, or early in university. Because I was like watching a lot of overly sarcastic production videos, in addition to a lot of other of these, I guess you can call edutainment animaniac or animatic tubers, if that makes sense. And I thought maybe I could do that, but then I realized my art sucked. Second, I wasn't getting into digital art, which would pretty much streamline the process. And finally, I was prioritizing my education more than whatchamacallit,
the pastime hobby of creating content.
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, I was more busy with D&D or other hobbies before I thought it, instead of content creation. I was still doing progressing and art-wise, but there was also a confidence issue I've always been going through back then, and I want to say even now, because Well, that Apuleius script has been sitting in my Google Docs for the past year, and I need to get around to fixing it, so to speak. So yeah, that pretty much was preventing me from doing content creation before, I guess, VTubing rolled around in 2020. I was finishing up, or I was onto my graduate degree when I started watching VTubers, pretty much on and off, in addition to the other content I was consuming at the time, and then I shifted into learning Live 2D in order to make VTuber models. And I thought maybe I could be just like those, be a behind the scenes kind of guy online, or as at least like content creator, I guess is the best way to put it, at least for like art Twitter. And then again, my buddy and I were talking about pretty much making him a VTuber, and I pretty much put it on the table that as I'm learning Live 2D, if he makes a model, I'll rig it for him, and he'll pretty much go on to do content creation while I just catch up with a model that I would be making afterwards, with the skills I learned along the way of making his model.
Okay. So here you are today. Hopefully confidence a little bit higher.
Of course.
I will say that as someone who has also personally struggled with a lot of confidence problems, the thing that I've like nailed into my own brain is kind of just doing it, because you won't see your results. Like, you'll never know if you succeed or fail if you just never get around to do it. And after I thought about that for a long time, it made me realize how insignificant my own like lack of confidence was to what I wanted to do truly. So I hope to see that content from you. As someone with low self-esteem, or at least previously low self-esteem, procrastination is the biggest scapegoat in order to not do things.
I mean, I suppose that's another reason why I do a lot of shit posting, because it's therapy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Make yourself laugh, make somebody else laugh, have a good time, and hopefully you'll garner enough self-respect for yourself to push something forward. I do that so much, so often. It's absolutely wild. My question for you, or at least another question, I have many questions. What do you think helps push a content creator forward? As far as what would be the catch-all, like, time to do this today, or time to keep going and pursue this passion?
I like to refer to what is nowadays like a great meme, or the great story of Sisyphus.
Oh, yes.
Rolling up a boulder up a hill for it to just fall, or fall past at the end. It's like many things in life. It's getting to the end point is an impossible task. It's just you just gotta keep on rolling the boulder up a hill.
Oh yes, because there's truly never an end.
I like to position myself as like a always learning scholar, I guess. Always wanting to, or being open to learning something every day or every week, or pretty much in every action I take.
Yeah, just as long as you are learning something.
Exactly. And endless learning. So I may never be a savant, but at least I can keep on the path of going that way.
This is fair. It kind of sparked a question out of me because I have always considered myself a jack of all trades, or a Jill of all trades in this case, master of none. And a lot of my passions usually are dwarfed by other people who do focus in on mastering a subject. Would you say, overall, at least in this scene, is it better to be a focuser, or is it better to stay that jack of all trades?
So there's a sort of, it's a mixed bag, I want to say. I hear about that, at least when it comes to YouTube, you should have a focus and you should exclusively devote yourself to a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when it comes down niches, I can easily get bored. I always want to make something new, or something that could change, or could really, how do I say, help me practice my creative writing, and express wit while doing so. But then we have cases like, I don't know, like Schlatt, that streamer, which is pretty much a living shitpost, and he got famous mostly because he was, not only because of his connections and networking, but also of his shitposts. Maybe shitposts don't really get a lot of traction, but it's again, like I said, it's a mixed bag. You can either focus on a niche and develop an audience through that niche, or you just post whatever you can with a little bit of effort, of course, and then you get famous somehow, especially with good context.
Yeah, I have changed my perspective from when I first started, because I tried to do the niche stuff, but like what you said, it becomes not challenging to just do the same thing over and over again. And that becomes a little boring, and you want to do something new, something fresh. At least, for us personally, that's just how we are. And my perception changed to, well, basically that. Put out that content, have fun, make memes whenever you have that desire to make a meme. And it's kind of like hooking something, like as a crane reaching into an arcade machine, and sometimes you pull out nothing, but then sometimes you get the big prize, and that is your victory for that moment. It takes a lot of effort, and people would call it failing, but I think that any content piece that you put out is technically a success. It's just a matter of, did you learn from what you made, and how can you make the next one better, or how can you improve upon it? At least on paper, a lot of people say, pick a niche, stick with it, but I don't think the real world really works like that for a lot of people. I mentioned it on Twitter. I said it the other day that if you try to force yourself under a label, that's like the fastest road to burnout, unless you're ready and prepared to accept living that label. So yeah, at least that's my spiel. That's my personal opinion on content creation. So
sorry, I just got, my apology for pausing there. I just got a text message from one of my family members. And I was worried for a moment. Okay, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Just wanted to be
Very
double
good.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
My next question for you is, if you could offer advice through what you've experienced, what should creators avoid doing? And in that same tone, what should they prioritize?
They should avoid saying slurs for first off. First off.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll stay with the common sense.
Of course, but common sense wise, make sure you have a work-life balance. You will definitely burn out if you dedicate all of your day to making content. It's labor that you're still putting in, and although it's a labor of love, it's still labor, and it will still drain your energy. You need to actually touch grass, as it turns out. You also not you can. It isn't just touching grass, but also other things. I come from, or at least with my, at least one of the things that stuck out from my psychology minor, was positive psychology, and one of the things that are very important, which also ties into the concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, are people. People matter. Your social groups matter, and keeping connections, not only on and offline, are important. Like, socialize. And I know that socialization is definitely a muscle that people have to train up. There's no, I say, still train up there, which then comes back to what I mentioned about having a balance of things, keeping things within moderation, eating good food, and having trying to reduce as much stress in your life as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting that you do mention the work-life balance, because for a lot of people, if we do treat this as though it were a job, it's the work-life balance. Like, most of us have a job to survive, and then we have this as our hobby that we want to push forward. And it's hard to, fit that technical fourth piece of a triangle into a tri-piece ideology, being, personal, social, and work. So yeah, if you have long days and you don't have a lot of opportunities to dedicate towards this hobby, remember that it is a hobby, and just take it in strides, lest you
exactly
not enjoy it.
I mean, that's why whenever I'm like visualizing a new costume for my model, I like to express on Twitter that I'm actually suffering, because it's another thing I'm compelled to make, on top of the many other things I have planned out already.
Oh yes, I always wonder how other people have done it for so long, and maybe, perhaps, perchance, a little bit of like ADHD and ADD comes into play, being unable to focus in on tasks, as well as being the classic procrastinator. So a lot of like personal things, which is part of that life balance, to maybe check in on those types of things. But okay. Eddie, like, so that's like what you should avoid and prioritize in one for you. Aside from the slurs, of course. Is there anything that you would say people just shouldn't do? Like, if they were to start out, what shouldn't they start out with?
It varies, I guess, on person to person. Especially with the intent. I suppose the best way to do what you just said would be at least figuring out what you intend on doing with your content, or at least with your channel, because ultimately what you are making is a brand, so to speak. It is. So once you figure out what you want to have as a brand, I suppose you have to then put in the work to make that brand a reality. Hopefully not in the course of hopefully not in the intent on solely making money, if that makes sense. Whether it be by grifting or AI bots.
Oh, you gotta love that.
Again, hopefully, but then again, people will try to find ways to make money anyway. So,
I find that the natural path to making money as a creator is first enjoying what you make. And it kind of just follows naturally from that point onwards. But what you're saying is you craft your face. Make sure that you don't like do anything that would tarnish your image after you've crafted your brand. In a way, I suppose.
In a way, I do believe that there are tarnishing your brand is unavoidable.
Oh yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. One day I might be good in the public's eye. The other day, just because I perchance don't like waffles, I am in the ire of the public eye. Again, this is a hypothetical. As far as I know, I think my past is pretty squeaky clean. I might have participated in like a DeviantArt flame war at some point, but that stuff was oh, thank you very much for the head pats.
Oh, yes.
Hey, in addition to like maybe some cringy stuff, I was figuring out while in high school. But outside of that, yeah, I'm pretty clean. But again, people will definitely dig up your past, and there will definitely be tarnish to your image. It's the way you approach that tarnish, I believe, is the most important, especially if you, at least in my eyes, at least, if you are approaching it as a learned or a learning experience. You know? There's a level of humbleness that you have to balance with also keeping face, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, it isn't to say, like, because obviously in certain ways, you can't always avoid that tarnish, the your opinion gone awry, like something you truly believe is contrary to a bunch of people, and God knows how many times I've gone through that. But there's also, like, an extent further beyond that. There's... maybe this is like a hot take. This is my own personal hot take. I don't think that everybody should be a content creator because they don't have their life together. And they make it a point to make the part of their life that isn't together the main focus of their content. And now you look like someone who's 12, who's just found access to the internet. I know it's earlier for most people, but they've just made their way online, and all they can do is complain and do all these things that are just cringe. That's like the most light way of putting it. I don't really think that if that's all you can do as a creator, hot take, I know, I'm sorry, you shouldn't make content until you've at least got a grip on a majority of your life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't got to be flawless. None of us are. But you know, you are here to put something forward, to put a piece of yourself into other people's lives. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, you know, if you're a VTuber, you're on this scene online, you're technically an influencer. You influence other people. Always. People see you, and I'm sure you know him, the impact that some people that you have come through as an interviewer will impact your life. Something that somebody will say, you might apply that the next time, but yeah. Don't start until I felt secure in my own life. Exactly. It is a topic, like, that is a full 2-hour long stream topic, so I won't go too crazy in detail with that. but I couldn't help myself. I just had to say it.
Of course.
So,
and
yeah,
there's
go
definitely,
ahead.
I'm definitely going to be paraphrasing this quote, but at least from what I remember, or at least should be like at least kept in mind at least as a content creator, would be that it's easier to tear things down than to create things.
Oh yes, 100%.
And do you know who I'm at least paraphrasing, and which this line of thinking is definitely going to be keeping me until which I'm going to be keeping hold of until probably I hit the casket, hit the can, you know. Mr. Mysterious Mr. Enter.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun.
I mean, as they say, it's, for a lot of things in your life, cutting out people from your life, a la burning the bridge. You can very easily burn down bridges. It is so much harder to rebuild that bridge, especially because the opposite side's contractors might not want to help bring that bridge back. So,
very much so. Yeah.
It's something that a lot of people don't think of. There's a big responsibility in everything that you say, no matter how big you get, because it can impact how other people view you. And I'm not saying to, completely just go with the grain, as some people would put it. Some of my biggest haters, the proverbial box, the echo chamber. Be true and honest, but remember that everything that you say is can be used against you in a court of law.
Be open and honest, but also be careful online, people.
Yeah, exercise responsibility. That's about it. And from that point, part of my interrogation for you is you don't have...
Oh, this is a very pleasant interrogation, I have to say.
Oh yeah, you don't notice until the poison starts to seep in towards the end, but it's very nice at this point in the interview. If you weren't a VTuber, and by extent, if you weren't creating content, what would you be doing instead?
Well, if I were to have a car, at least, I would probably be putting my degree to a job.
Okay.
I guess also hopefully doing what I'm doing right now, but with non-VTubers, if that makes sense.
Oh yes.
With people, you know. Well, not saying that you're not a person, Iris, but as far as I know, we are being presented by a lot of ones and zeros right now.
Oh yeah, I am just a projected image. I'm not real. But I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there are a lot of people that I have met. I've not had the opportunity to interview with a lot of them, but I've met people who are like, just like you with a master's degree, higher, that do VTubing. And like, I would love to meet more people like that because, obviously they do this as a hobby. It's something that they enjoy. Whether they want to make a life profit out of it, that's one thing. That's their personal thing. And I can almost guarantee you would agree with this. People are cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people bring so many cool things to the table, and no two people are the same. Like, and I've met a ton of people. Like almost everybody that I follow on Twitter, I have talked to at some point, and that's a lot. Everybody has something new to bring, and that's what I love about it. Okay, so you would dedicate time to using your degree to put it to good use, and meet with new people. But in contrary to that, in contrast, when you get home and you get onto the computer and you are getting set up to stream or you're in Discord with somebody, what does it mean for you to be Him-chan?
to be the scratchy cat that yells at you in the middle of the night for food.
The 3 a.m. running around all crazy in the middle of the night.
Yeah, let's say that, yeah. You're going to have to pay attention to me eventually, but so I might as well have fun while doing it.
As many of my friends say, as we are both on the same wavelength, I'm sure you would understand. I am the shitter of my friend group. I like to cause trouble and problems and ask questions that make people groan and roll their eyes. It's just part of being a memer, if you know what I mean.
Of course. I'm betting before this you were an avid shit poster.
Oh yes, or at the very least, I wasn't quite that bad. I promise I used 0 slurs, but I was the that Call of Duty kid who was screaming into her microphone and like causing the uproars and the ruckuses in lobby type games.
Are you sure about the slur part?
I have 100%. I promise. I swear on God, I've never done stuff like that.
Either or, there are no witnesses.
Oh yes, no one can prove that either way. So, with that being said, I have a brand new segment. I always call it brand new because I have to get it up on screen. Okay, it didn't work today. My segment called Hypothetical Theoretical. And this question and this segment is based off of the whole premise that I am a shitposter shitter and love to make people roll their eyes. So I dedicated an entire channel in my Discord where you can submit your hypothetical theoretical. Hence, it's named that because I open with hypothetically theoretically a lot. So, Him-chan, this question comes from Mitsuda Midoi. He asks, hypothetically theoretically, if they invented a full-body VR suit that allowed you to feel pain as a result of getting your character hurt in a video game, would you ever activate that feature? And if you did, why?
Like, what kind of pain are we talking here?
I would assume it is as far as you're playing a shooter, you get shot, you feel that pain of getting shot.
You know, that sounds like there's a wide variety of I suppose pain, a wide spectrum of pain, if that is the case. So maybe not perchance not perchance using it for a how do I say a FPS, a shooter for example, where I'll probably scream like a bitch. No, I'll probably do it for other means, which will probably violate a lot of Twitch TOS guidelines. Let's say.
Well, I mean, while we're in this hypothetical theoretical, we're safe. Yeah. It's like saying in Minecraft.
Of course.
Well, they have the full body VR suit. Would that work? Like, no, never mind. I actually can't talk about this without it violating TOS. So we're gonna. Of course, and
I'm also keeping it as vague as possible because I like to keep my. I mostly like to keep my my private things private.
Of course. I was thinking about how if you were playing an FPS with this suit on, every time you die, you just on the other side of the death comms, you just hear uninterrupted screaming, and they're on the ground.
Oh yeah,
nobody's like physically dying, of course, but just the oh god.
And then there's the lucky motherfucker that cross maps you with a tomahawk.
Oh my fucking god. All right, thank you for answering that question. I'm sure Mitsuda would love to hear your response on that. Speaking of which, well, not speaking of which of Mitsuda, but I think it is a great point to take a really quick break, and then after which we will open it up to chat to have you answer anything they want.
All right,
Ish,
sounds good.
with an asterisk, but you'll answer anything, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'll try to answer it as much as possible, except my social security numbers, you fuckers.
Well, of course.
But yeah.
Oh, but the credit card information is fully on the table, correct?
What credit card?
Fair enough. You win this round. And the same goes for chat. If any
Remember,
of you need to go get
usury
a
is a
drink,
sin, people.
if any of you need to get a drink, use the restroom, by all means. I'm going to run some ads while we're at the break, and we will see you all in just a moment.
All right.
All right, everybody, we are back. Well, that was a fast transition. And bottles up, so we're good.
Yeah. Hey there. How's it, everyone?
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you for the head pat, Sev. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So we've got a lot of questions from chat coming back in. They all perfectly timed it to where we would be rejoining with all of these questions. So starting us off is PK with the very, very natural question. What are your favorite flavor of chips?
That would be between salt and vinegar and ranch.
Those are two very distinct flavors.
Yeah.
I used to be a salt and vinegar enjoyer, but for whatever reason, as I've aged, they've become more and more unpleasant. Like, they aren't necessarily the most pleasant to begin with. It's their kick that makes them so good, but I don't know. I can't do them anymore. Okay. So, next from Zipso, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. What is your favorite era of history and why? You don't have to get too detailed, but just curious.
So I don't particularly have a favorite. I think the best way to answer that would be at least my education in it and such. I pursued a degree, or at least a primary degree, in European history with a focus on ancient to medieval Mediterranean history. Mostly because my family comes from southern Italy. However, instead of Italy, I focused predominantly on Spain, which is a what is it called? A pebble across the pond, I suppose, from Italy, but it's decent enough. It's decent enough. But I also have a generalization in American social history, especially with my my experience in oral history.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much a long-winded answer to that, and potentially the reason why I chose to focus on them.
Okay. I think that is perfectly long enough for what they were expecting. So
I hope so.
Silver wants to know, what is your favorite show?
Yeah, I don't have a favorite show. In all honesty, it's more just like
Whatever's on
the media.
at the time.
Yeah, whatever I'm fixated on watching each week. Right now, it's been the Invincible second season, which has definitely been at least pacing wise, disappointment. But then again, I'm just kind of getting sick and tired of the montages.
Fair enough.
But outside of that, the show's good.
Okay. Gray wants to know, if you suddenly got given $1,000, I assume $1,000, what would you do with it?
Probably sit on it.
Invest it.
I mean, $1,000 is pretty much my monthly expenses.
This is true.
Just to survive. So, yeah.
Well, you get one
probably
free
better off
month.
in a bank.
Yeah, your one free month to do whatever you want with it. Like it'll keep you afloat, and everything else you're like fine. You don't got to stress about bills. Okay, I was curious about this because you brought it up before. It's basically like part of your whole background. What is it about oral history that interests you? Because when you say oral, you mean spoken and passed along.
Oh yes, definitely spoken.
Is there like an I have not the best term for this. Is there any like telephoning that happens with that?
Oh, there's definitely a issue with. Okay, so the best way I can describe it is paraphrasing an idea from Soup Emporium's video on the history or the history of the response to the Sharon Noble, incident, or the meltdown, and the fallout afterwards.
Yes.
There are issues with the possibility that oral history can definitely delve into hearsay. But this also ties into a greater understanding of what history is, and history is definitely incomplete. What oral history serves is to put in the biases and the things that even the things that the interviewee forgets about into the historical context. It is putting the humanity into history. Because history is predominantly a very humanistic or humanitarian should I say discipline, or a very humanistic practice.
I mean, yeah, technically we have the people who recount things in history with it being written, but that's also a person, or maybe a group, collective of people gathering that information together. So this is what you mean when you say, like, delivering it moist is you can do that the most easily with oral history.
Of course.
Okay.
And this also compounds on another concept that I learned while in what is called historian boot camp from a anthropologist by the name of Clifford Geertz. It's pretty much I see oral history, at least, as another means of applying what is called thick description to a past event. It's not only the clinical event, that the list of things that happened, like for example, what's the word? What's an example? What's an analogy? Actually, maybe I should just bring out the analogy that Geertz uses and then try to apply it to a historical analogy. For example, at least in the example that Geertz provides, a wink means something. It has a cultural, or at least a social background to it. Otherwise, me blinking one eye all of a sudden would be the best way to clinically describe that. That would be then called a thin description. Thick description would be the cursier, or like the curtsy wink, or the sly wink. It's the how do I say, what is behind that wink that makes it a wink. I hope everybody's following that.
No, I understand completely. It is one thing to describe something, and then another to apply its significance culturally.
Yes.
Where it applies, like to this day. Because otherwise, yeah, it is just like, why did you do that? Why did you just randomly blink your eye? And if you have no context for that, which is something unspoken, it's hard coded into us to understand these things.
And then like Geertz definitely goes on to the grand web of signs and symbols that man has ultimately trapped himself in. To tie it back to history is to provide the very human or on the ground context of an event and the emotion, even the emotions that come with it. For example, the fallout of Chernobyl, with the civilians being forced to leave all their belongings and then face, well, the fallout of nuclear radiation in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
It's the it's really the gut punches that really emphasizes the value that history has. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. All right, wonderful. I have for you 3 final questions. What I like to refer to as my big 3. So the first of my big 3 is, if you could ask the next interviewee anything, what would you ask them?
How the fuck do you deal with burnout?
I will phrase it that way exactly.
I mean, I think I need about like a week. I think a week break every month and a half just to stave off anxiety and try to keep to revitalize my creative thinking process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need a break like every month and a half. Otherwise, I would actually go deeper than burnout, and I don't like that.
We don't want that to happen.
No, not at all.
It's interesting because I tried to do the same thing, and I more than likely have some form of undiagnosed attention disorder, something along those lines. And I found that taking a break, like, it was helpful in the short term, but then during that week that I was taking that break off, I was anxious. Like, I felt like I needed to do something. And so I've now started applying the opposite, crazy as it may seem, where I am still working. I've actually added more to my workload, but I've used whatever my attention problem is to my advantage by not working on one thing. It is like, oh, I thought about this, I'm going to work on that. All right, I'm bored. Next one. We're going to go to the next bit. And it helps me avoid burnout, surprisingly. But that's my method. Otherwise, yours is probably the best way to do it. But okay, I will pass this along. I know who, and it might not be for a little bit since my next week's finicky, but I will let them know your question. I call that my ADHD superpower. Yeah, you get it, Zip. You get it. My second question for you is, if you were a drink at the bar behind you, what drink would you be, and what would you call yourself?
Well, I will definitely have to consider a very, very obscure, what is called a sidecar drink, called the Pousse Café.
Yes, you mentioned this a little bit.
Yeah, first and foremost, I might be butchering the pronunciation, but then again, I don't care about the French. No, it's a cocktail with like layers of. It's a layered drink with a bunch of liqueurs, which you would sip alongside a glass of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
So that like. At one moment, you're drinking chocolate-flavored champagne. The other, orange-flavored champagne. And I feel like that kind of drink really describes at least my my choice of constantly switching models per stream.
Mm-hmm. So, in essence, it's like a Neapolitan, but you have more layers.
Oh yeah, and it gets you drunk.
Yep, fair enough. We'll develop for somebody else a Neapolitan alcohol, a mixed drink that's layered like you're mentioning.
On a side note, just don't order it at a busy bar. That's a really good way to get spit in your drink.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. So
I mean, what is it, like 6 layers, maybe 7 layers?
So the drink itself, so it is 6 layers in the glass.
Yes.
And then you drink champagne on the side.
Yes, that's what that's what would be a sidecar drink, yes.
Okay, that's cool. I like that as a it's its own chaser in that regard.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And finally, my last question for you is, who would you like to rate?
Oh, well, I'll be sending y'all to a previous client of mine and a good buddy, and as well as interviewee, Brandon Geddon. He's currently playing Hunt Showdown, and I'm sure he's going to have a big surprise. He's going to have a jolly old good time with y'all over there.
Oh yes, I've pulled up his Twitch. Hopefully, he isn't too scared by my random follow. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
For being a wonderful guest today on stream.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Is there any big streams planned? I saw that you're going to be playing Slay the Princess tonight. So
unfortunately not. That's been pushed to next week because of broadbanding issues.
Right. Yes.
But outside of that, I suppose I'm also doing the Half-Life series. I'm trying to go throughout the entire series, starting with the original, which thankfully there was the 25th anniversary update, which really fixed a lot of I suppose graphical or something like of the sort bugs.
I didn't realize that they updated it just for the 25th anniversary.
I didn't know either until the night I learned.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And as I set up the raid message and the raid for us tonight, what are some final passing words that you would like to give to chat this evening?
I'm on the spot, aren't I?
Oh,
My
yes.
words will definitely be hopefully wise. Well, first and foremost. Oh, thank you, Cliver. Silver. There we go. Thank you, Silver. Fuck the French. Exactly. Well, first and foremost, fuck the French. Second off, be sure to have 8 hours of sleep every night. Touch grass. And always be humble.
I'm sure.
You know?
All right. There is our raid message. Oral history raid. Deliver it moistly. And let's give our
Oh, he's
love.
going to love that. He's going to love that.
We'll give our love to Bran.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go. It went through, I think. Yes, we're good. That's the correct name and the correct spelling. So, I will be leaving you chat until Thursday. Well, at least for me personally. I'll be here on Friday with Ben and Soulstone. Ben and Space Buffoon. We'll be talking more about video game manuals. And on Thursday, Lutrium will have the stage playing To the Moon as a part of a special series that she'll be doing. But that's neither here nor there. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye. Bye.
Yeah,
bye.
This is my specialty. I love to leave it on the end screen and they can still hear us. And
I see. I see.
Yeah, say goodbye to Kirby. Deliver it
Kirby.
moistly. Oh my goodness. You know, I really love his design. He's got a really cool thing going on.
Yeah, he's pretty horny.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.